Hello guys, today we're going to talk about Settons, or Supreme Straight, depending on what you call it. I call it Settons sometimes because I used to play Forged Alliance. This was a very popular map in Forged Alliance. It was a 4v4 map there. Here it's an 8v8 map. Your spawn box is usually like this. And you'll have several positions. You'll have one here, 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 and one here. Okay, you'll have two backliners. One will go air most games. You have two naval players, and you have four frontliners. These back players can eco first compared to the frontliners because they're safer. It's a little less pressure for them too. But ideally, you have four frontline players who will send their commanders mid and build units for the front to really hold this line here. The frontliners up here should run their commanders a little earlier because there is reclaim in the center. That's a non-insignificant amount of reclaim that you want to contest. So I don't need to do this because I'm alone. But that's what you want to do. You want to have frontliners here that are contesting mid. You have two backliners and you have two naval players. Now, I actually started to try naval a little bit. I found that navy is actually kind of bad sometimes, and that hover is like slept on a little bit. Hover is slept on. I watched a game where another high-rated player positions himself here, which is like the equivalent of this side, and he went T2 fast and then transitioned into T1 hover spam with the heavy hover spam. There's only T1 for hovers, but the T1 hovers are pretty good because they hit the soft underbelly of the team. Most of the team's forces are concentrated in mid. So I watched him do this, and it was really good. He like walled off 90% of it, and he built turrets here so that the light hover tanks can't get in, or the light ships, which will be here, can't really pressure too hard. He just ecoed, he got his hovers, and he just broke out and just like won the game. He had to do it twice, but he had to like push out twice, but it basically won the game because of how much this player had to help the water. Because the water player just went straight into navy with T1 economy, whereas this player was on T2 economy and T1 hovers, so he was able to win. And what happened was I actually replicated this strategy. I did the same thing. I went T2 hovers here, T2 hovers, or T2 economy, and then T1 hovers. I had a amphibious constructor go and contest the island. A really funny battle ensued here, which I will talk about, what you can do with air. I was fighting with it was a constructor battle, air constructor versus my amphibious constructor. I was able to get lucky and win by shooting the constructor down with an anti-air turret. It was really funny. But I was able to get the hill, which helped me eco faster. And what happened was I pushed out with my T1 heavy hovers, and the enemy player saw that I was teching because I put two Jaguars here because I was concerned he would do a run by. And so he was like, oh my God, this player is teching. I'm going to nuke him. So I got nuked over here. All right, my factory was destroyed. 3 of my T2 mexes were destroyed. I was slowed down. But I did so much damage with my T1 hovers that these players were like completely caught off guard. Because they didn't eco, they were behind, and when I came in and slapped them, they were also set behind. So it was basically a double reset that happened. But it's actually favorable to my side because this player spent his resources attacking this player, allowing these players to attack these players, saving the time. If my eco players back here were nuked, that would be also bad. That would be like worse. But going T2 on this Navy side, I think it's a possibility. Just T2, wall off defense, because you have this choke here. I don't think you can get away with it on this side because you have too much to wall off, too much area to cover with turrets. So I think hovers are actually pretty good because if this player wants to wall off now, you actually want to punch through before he gets the eco lead. So in which case, no player goes actual Navy. Everyone does hover, which I think is just kind of weird. I'm so used to people actually building Navy that it's kind of weird, but that's what you can do. I wanted to talk about the air player. If there's an air player, I think it's actually a great idea to send T1 air constructor, maybe your second air constructor, over to the island here and just build a turret first and then get the mexes. What happens is, the turret will just cover the mexes, and if they have a lone constructor run up here, it's just going to get taken out. And you can take the opponent's island first because you have air. The air can fly over really fast. That's why I said there was a air battle here. So what happened was my constructor actually arrived second. It was an amphibious one, and it's the closer island, but the air constructor is just so fast. Um, the air constructor from the enemy built these two mexes, but I saw that, and so I'm like, I started to like build a turret before the air constructor did. So if you have an air constructor, I recommend building the turret first, and then get the mexes. That way you can take the island. The islands are so out of the way of the game that like most people don't like contesting islands, nor do they like to contest these side islands here. So if you are able to get them, like you might be able to sit on them for like close to the entire game. Okay, what else is there to discuss about? Yes, the pawns. Yes, the pawns. The pawns are actually strategically important. Tidal on this map is high. It's 21. It's higher than wind. Like it's consistently higher than wind. So actually, these these players back here can actually use the pawn to build power generators, which are the tidal generators. Your commander can build them, or amphibious ones. Normal constructors can't build those, so you would just build it in this area. Like you can build it like, oh, this looks so bugged, but you can build it in this area. I don't believe tidal generators chain react that much, so you can do that. Water players will also probably build. If you're doing actually water and not like hover, the tidal generators are also good on this side too. So it is actually possible, I remember, to build on these little islands here. I remember I was playing Navy once. I had flagships here, and the enemy had the basilisks, the heavy plasma artillery, the T2 artillery, that just wrecked my flagships, and I was so mad about that. I was like, how can this be? And then I remembered, oh, you're supposed to build jammers as Navy, so, you know, my fault, I guess. As Navy, if you're doing Navy and not hovers, your goal is to win water, and then support the invasions here with like coastal attack, and then build a flagship if you can get that far into the game. Your flagship can bombard like way into the land. All right. Hopefully that's, oh yeah, there's a 1 geo here, I will recall, and either the eco player can get it or the Navy player. Or if this guy's deciding eco, he can get that too, yeah. There is 1 geo here, and the geo is, geo strats, you do that. Besides that, there's a lot of power to reclaim here. Power is equivalent to mass if you build the power generator, so, you know, reclaim that. I don't believe there's anything other significant that there is to talk about. Sutton's a very good map, in my opinion. I mean, Supreme Strait is a good map. I think it's good. People like hate it because it's like, oh, it's so sweaty down this line here. But guess what? Other maps like Glitter are just as sweaty, okay? Every map has their pros and cons. I think Sentence is fun because, you know, you're focused on one area here, and the Navy players will fight, and your eco players will do their things. It's a fun game. It's 8v8, much more players than a 4v4, and yeah, decent map. Kind of quick video. Hope you learned something, I guess. All right, I'm gonna end the video here. Goodbye.